Jonathan here. I want to kind of give you just a recap of all the weekend's events at Daytona, Truck Series, Xfinity, ARCA, and of course the Daytona 500. So start with the Truck Series. They raced on Friday night. Unfortunately, they were plugged with weather pretty much all throughout the race. It was kind of weird. The forecast showed that there was a slight chance, but really was going to be probably in the beginning of the race, and then it would have been okay for us to race. The problem was they kept getting hit by these one, either pop up showers, or two, this heavy mist that would just form. You wouldn't even see it on the radar, it just would be there. The low hanging clouds would just bring this heavy mist. And finally, at the end, they had to call the race. And it was like 20 laps to go. It was just too much. It kept on just soaking the track enough to where they would take about an hour or so to dry the track, and it was just it was a pain in the butt, really. The race itself was okay. They just couldn't get anything going because they would go for a while, either have a crash or then the ram came. It would just there was no flow to the race. Zane Smith won the race back to back, which good for him. Congrats for him, but it was just there was no consistency in that race, and I felt like, geez, I mean, can we have just a little bit of fun, a little bit of action, something going on? And it just didn't feel like it was happening. When the day's race, again, it was okay, it was good. Double wide pushing, typical truck race at super speedways. Just nothing really felt energized, if you will. So sucks that Mother Nature had to play a role on that. But things happen, obviously. Let's go to the ARCA series because that was just before the Xfinity series. I forgot his name, and I apologize for that, but he was a local short track driver. He said basically he had one chance because this is the only super speedway car he has, and he goes out and wins. Very excited for local people to get in the big time like that. I mean, even it's just the ARCA series, right? And be able to win. That was great. Last lap pass. And I didn't expect him to even make the pass because he didn't seem like he had a big enough a run. But it was kind of a lazy run. Like he had a run, but it wasn't that fast, super fast. But the leader didn't really react to it at all. He just let him get to the outside, and he side drafted him and got away, and that was it. So that was a pretty good move on his part. But yeah, great to see that. Also, Frankie Muniz, you already seen a video on this. He was a part of the ARCA series now. I finished 11th, good for him. Staying up front, raced on the outside, made passes, so he was a very aggressive driver, which is good. That's how you learn. You learn because if you sit on the inside, you're not going to learn anything. You're just going to follow the lead. You're going to follow that lane. If you're on the outside, you actually start learning and knowing what the runs are, how much pushing and bumping and all that stuff happens. So glad that he learned all that. Got a little accident there late, but was still able to come home 11th. That was pretty good for his debut. He's trying to say, I like how he says in the interviews, I'm not trying to be a actor / driver. I'm trying to be a driver now. Which, you know what? I still have to see a few more races with him, especially when he gets to the short tracks, some of the mile and a halves. Then I'll see how good of a driver he is. But I think as right now, he passed at least the Daytona test, anyways, the Super Speedway test. But still good on his part to have a good finish on that. A lot of female drivers in the ARCA series. Natalie Decker was one. There was I think 3 others, and they did well. I think 2 female drivers finished in the top 5, I believe. Definitely good for them. I think Natalie finished 14th, but really good for them to see what they could do on super speedways and stuff like that. I forgot to talk about Haley Deegan in the trucks. She had a stage 1, finished in the top 5, so we got some stage points, and then unfortunately got caught up in a wreck. Middle of the race, so unfortunate for that. But looked like she was going to do okay. She was actually being very aggressive as well, going to the top, getting a push and runs and stuff. So good for her, but unfortunately, just didn't work out for her on the truck side. All right, let's move forward to the Xfinity series, and the Xfinity series, um, as usual, was very wild, and again, it started to start out just a little bit slow, and I was like, okay, let's not start out like the truck series, right? We're not getting momentum, but it was good, clear weather, no problem with weathering and such like that. So except the wind, there was a lot of wind on Saturday for them. And boy, that was a treacherous times. Being careful not to get loose off. I think the winds were a tailwind. I want to say they were onshore winds, so tailwind coming off four, so you get a lot of loose off four. But it seemed like everyone was doing okay, and with that, for the most part, some people were complaining about the wind, but not terrible. Really, it was a tamed race, but a good race until the end. When uh, Sam Mayer he got turned trying to pass his teammate of the seven. I want to tell you this right now. No, this is my personal opinion about all of this right here. You have four junior motorsports cars lined up against one RCR car of the 21 of Austin Hill. Why in the world would you decide to take that advantage and just shut up your ass? I mean, literally, why would you do that? You have an opportunity to smoke that dude, blow past him. He could be sent back to 20th, but no, you decide to go for your own position for yourself. Look, I'm all for racing for the win for yourself, even if you're a teammate. But wait until you get the one dude that could possibly win this race against all of you. It was almost like, well, if we kick one out, it's okay. We still got three against, one, or we still got two against one. You didn't do it. If that was me, on three laps to go, I would have backed up, got a run, smoked his butt, put him back to 20th because no one else is going to go up there and get him. I don't understand what their logic was. They weren't even acting like teammates, and it was ridiculous. I mean, I understand, fans don't like sometimes teammates working with one another at super speedways, but in this case, I would have wanted him to. He is your enemy. You take him out, put him to 20th. I just don't understand the logic behind that. That was irritating the hell out of me. So and then at the end of all of it, Austin Hill still wins, right? So it's like, what? It was when Sam Mayer goes to the outside of his teammate, Austin Hill is still behind him, right? So it's not like he didn't fall back that much when they did start making passes. And so Sam Mayer gets a run, shoots to the outside, Justin Allgaier blocks, he comes back down. Austin Hill, by accident, this was all pure accident, was trying to get around him again, clipped his bumper, it spun him towards the outside wall on the back straightaway. At the same time, he hit the wall, it started to flip. The air caught it and just tumbled over more. It looked almost exactly like Ryan Newton's wreck in 2020. Thankfully, no one hit him, but man, I don't understand that. What is the logic behind that? I mean, you have four junior motorsports cars lined up. Easy pickings. If I'm the 21, I'm shitting my pants right now. Whereas I'm going to get screwed right here. And I'm pretty sure he's laughing. He was laughing his ass off as soon as he starts seeing these guys start mixing it up. And heck, even two of the drivers made contact and spun out one. I think it was Brandon Jones who spun out, I believe. I'm just like, what's going on here? How stupid can you be? I bet you Junior is probably like, we had four opportunities and not one opportunity worked. How is that possible, right? It's just, oh my God, I'd be livid too. But hopefully they'll figure that out when they get to the next super speedways. Like, listen, if we're in that scenario again, we got to work together just for one lap. That's all we got to do. Get whoever is in lead. If someone's not a teammate in front of us, I don't care even if it is a same manufacturer. If not our manufacturer, or even if he is, but he's not our teammate, kick him out. Move him to the back. It's ridiculous. But we'll move on from that. That was just, that actually irritated me a little bit more than anything this whole weekend. But wow. All right, let's get to the Daytona 500. And that, it was kind of funny. The beginning of the race, even though they would go wide for pretty much the whole entire race, it was kind of tamed. It was, I mean, let's be very clear. These cars, for some reason, you just cannot make a third lane with them. I don't know if it's just because it has a lot of drag. I don't know if it's the horsepower itself. I don't know, but they just can't make a third lane at all. So I think hopefully NASCAR maybe goes back to the drawing board a little bit of the super speedway package. It's good, but it could be fine tuned and worked a little bit better. I think the mostly is just trying to get that third lane to work, just to have more passing opportunities. But anyways, they go double wide for pretty much stage 1 and stage 2 with no problems basically, until got the wrecks that happened. Obviously, unfortunately, Harvick. I know he didn't mean to wreck the 45 of Tyler Reddick, but it just seemed like he was pushing unnecessarily through that corner for no reason. And we already know that these cars are very unstable as they are, and they just don't want to touch him at all in a turn. But he bumped and then got him loose and caused a big wreck. Took my driver out, Chase Elliott. But it was definitely a bad opportunity in that scenario. But it is what it is. But anyways, so getting into the later of the race, I definitely so got into the later of the race, and the action started obviously picking more and more up, and got to the middle of the race. More wrecks started happening. Just that's typical Daytona, especially Daytona 500. At the end, it came down to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Joe Logano, Christopher Bell, Larson at the end, and unfortunately had a wreck. Travis Pastrana, I have to talk about him. And my goodness, potentially could have got a top 10 in his first ever and only Daytona 500. But he got bumped going into the corner by the 10 of Eric Almirola. That shot him down into Larson. Larson shot him in the wall. At the same time, Larson hit him, hit Bubble. Bubble came, I don't know if he got loose, came back up the track because Kyle Busch was on the top, and he got clipped too. And spun out. And man, Kyle Busch, what is he gonna ever win the 500? He's almost gonna start being a Dale Earnhardt thing. I mean, even Truex, right? But especially Kyle Busch, he's come so close of winning the Daytona 500 multiple times, and he's just not been able to get there. This time, technically, like he says, I led lap 200, but now because of Grand Checkers, that doesn't matter anymore. I wish it was 1998 like Dale Earnhardt, but it sucks for him. And get this is kind of what sucks. He gets taken out during the duels, right, on Thursday by Suarez, and the same person on Sunday ruins his chances again. In this case, Suarez just spins off 4 and brings out the caution. Though I'm telling you, NASCAR is just so trigger happy at the end when it comes to the cautions. I mean, look, it was a single car spin. He was nowhere near anyone else. He was sliding down the apron, going to pit road. Now, I'm not saying he didn't have control. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but it seemed like he had it under control, and he could have went down pit road. But I'm wondering if he realized that maybe if he didn't, they would have gone multiple laps down. Of course, I think he did anyways, because he went through the grass, got stuck, because it rained from Friday, and it just never really absorbed up all the moisture, so he got stuck. And of course, he had flat tires as well. I was like, what was the logic on that? So I don't know if I'm not saying he did it on purpose. I'm just saying that it seems suspicious, I guess you want to say, that he didn't have it under control. But now, anyway, NASCAR threw it away before he even got to the grass. I mean, they threw the caution when he was just halfway sideways. But anyways, it was definitely an interesting finish to that. Congrats to Stenhouse winning the Daytona 500. But it was a fun race to see. Congrats to Stenhouse getting the win at the Daytona 500. And Joey Logano finishes second, Bell third. Definitely a good outcome for him, obviously, to win the Daytona 500. Actually, his last win was at Daytona in I think it was July back then. Maybe it was the August race, but I think it was July, but the second Daytona race. And definitely a good outcome for him to get ready to start seeing. Now he's locked in the playoffs, right? Just by that, he's already locked in. So, as for what he could do for this year, I don't know. I mean, I think Could he get more wins? Yeah, more or less on the super speedways. But if you're talking about like mile and a half, yeah, I think he'll go runs. I think top tens are not out of the question. But will he win? Unless I have another scenario, I don't see that happening. But anyways, definitely a good weekend of racing for sure. Just Monday, you had to ruin the truck race, and we had just a lot of sort of pause moments that kind of wish they didn't happen. What's up? I mean, the ARCA series. I mean, that was a good finish, a good thing. They had the longest caution and red flag period. That shouldn't have taken that long. Was so ridiculous. It's like, why? I mean, I thought this was going to be another shortened race because they were getting up close to the time where the Xfinity race was supposed to start. And usually, obviously, Xfinity takes more precedence than the ARCA. So because of that, I was wondering, oh, yep, they're going to shorten the race for the ARCA series because they're taking too long. But they got it all in, surprisingly. But definitely, they need to work. One thing I want to talk about quickly, and I think everybody is pretty much understanding this one. Fox, Daytona 500. The amount of commercials we had. I mean, I lost count. I was like, wait a minute. I don't remember having. I mean, look, the first after lap 10, that's always happens. Always. 10 laps in, boom, commercial. Totally get that one. But then literally every 10 laps, commercial. I'm like, what are we doing? I mean, did we? I don't know what happened. Did they overcalculate how many commercials they were going to have or something? I don't know. But it was ridiculously how stupid how much commercials we had. And somebody said that we had like 22 commercials or whatever. And like, we didn't have a lot of, and of course the commercials were full screen. I mean, I think we had like 3 or 4 regular side by side ones. One side by side was during a caution. I'm like, what are you wasting that for? I mean, Fox priority anymore is ridiculous. They say, oh, you want to keep NASCAR on this. I'm like, you do? Because you're turning into a clown show. That's what you're doing. You're not making any sense whatsoever to what you're doing. Now, I'll have to admit, Clint Boyer was a lot more pulled back this year. You could tell. He was energized and exciting, but you could tell I don't know if they pulled his reins back and like say, hey, calm down a little bit. And not be so that energetic. But he was a lot more tame. Tony Stewart, I almost forgot that he was even in the booth. I mean, he talked, but it was like you almost didn't really hear him. Like, he was there, but not really there. I don't know if they just, I don't know, maybe Tony Stewart just did not want to really talk much. I don't know, but it seemed a little weird. It seemed, this 500's broadcast, television broadcast, was odd. And especially with the commercials, the amount of commercials that were on there was ridiculous, and it was stupid. But will it change? Probably not, because no one's going to have the balls to step up and outbid Fox. I wish someone would. Hell, I'd take ESPN back over this crap. I'm pretty sure ESPN wouldn't put this much commercials on. Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. I don't know. But I would think they would do a lot better anyways. It's ridiculous. I know a lot of people are talking about streaming platforms and spending $30 to have a commercial-free televised stuff or whatever. And that's still something I'm a little against still. Just because, it's not that I couldn't afford it or who else can afford it. It's like the small income people, right? The ones that just can't afford to pay that kind of extra stuff. And if they even have reliable internet. I mean, there's still people out there just don't have good internet to live stream. So it's unfortunate that we still live in a world like that. But still, I don't trust it yet 100% on getting good coverage. So, and right now NASCAR is trying to, I'll tell you right now, the viewership usually comes out, I think, on Tuesdays. I will say, I'm gonna have to say it's gonna probably not be the highest that NASCAR thinks it's gonna be. And to be the truth, it's because of commercials. they're gonna go, wow, this is bad. I mean, I'm not watching anything. Why I'm only watching commercials? I might as well just watch the freaking grass grow. I mean, that's kind of basically what I'm doing. I'm not watching anything. And after a while, that appealing, it kind of goes away. A lot of even casual fans will say, man, how many commercials they put on this? It gets bad. So I feel like that NASCAR needs to start talk to Fox a little bit and say, listen, guys, you got to spread these out more or do more side by sides or something, because you are killing it. You're absolutely killing the sport right now by doing this. You cannot put that many commercials back to back to back to back. It does not help. And I understand they have to make a business. I understand the commercials pay for the bills, but you got to do something better. You have to. Listen, if you're thinking that commercials today give you revenue, is a bunch of BS. When I mean that is like, no one's watching TV for commercials. They're not doing that anymore. I mean, most people run ads on certain things, so they don't have to see commercials, ad blockers on like internets just to stop watching ads, right? So they do that stuff, right? Why would people want to sit through commercial after commercial after commercial on TV? They might as well watch something else. Watch Netflix or whatever that doesn't have commercials or whatever. It's really bad and it needs to stop. It really does. So, I mean, we talk about F1 a lot, and I understand F1's nowhere comparison to NASCAR, but when they have their rights to F1 and they use Skyview or Sky Sports or whatever it's called, they have a contract basically that they do not run commercials. It's 100% commercial free. I don't know if we're ever gonna could get to that in NASCAR, but they have to reduce it, or at least put side by sides in now. You know, no more full commercials. At least side by side. If you have to have commercials, it has to be side by side. All right. I mean, because here's the thing. At least then, if you're on side by side, the commentators get their breaks. They kind of debrief or whatever they need to do. But at least we can still visually see the race going on still, right? That's kind of what side by side works. Let the commercial ad run. Who gives a crap? I don't care what's on there. It's not like I'm going, ooh, a commercial going on. Let's see what they have. And no, I can care less about that. I don't give two shits what's on commercials. Do you think I'm going to buy it? Hell no. So I don't care. And most of these commercials are stupid anyways. Why would I care to watch them? So it's got to stop. And Fox is trying to say they want to care about NASCAR, but they're not. They don't care. They don't care at all. If they did, they would actually be trying something. It's become a joke for them. NBC's a lot better. They still have their issues, but they're better than what the Fox does. But still, we'll move on from that, and hopefully next week will be a lot better. And we'll do another talk about next week at Auto Club. Though Auto Club looks like it's a questionable next week, as Mother Nature, yes, California getting rain in March, which it's not uncommon, but it's very rare, I guess, because usually by now the pattern changes and they usually start getting dry again. So it's a little bit more wet still. So who knows when we'll get the racing in next week, but we'll see. Anyways, that will do it for this one. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing for more of this stuff and a little more laid back talk, review stuff. This is kind of what I want to do on this channel. My other channel I have, NASCAR Info, it's a little more serious. It's a little more in-depth, more lap by lap sort of thing, and just kind of like ready to break it down. This I want to do more relaxed, just hang out, no problems, just chit chat basically. And if you got any questions or comments, or you want to put in the comments below, feel free to do that. Have a conversation with about NASCAR and stuff. That's kind of what I want to do. Not necessarily really go too full in depth in a sense, but pick out some highlights and things that were stuck out to me. That's kind of what I want to do. Not to have that pressure to have to be that kind of serious and really, and sometimes badmouth sometimes NASCAR or Fox or whatever. and then get better. And well, I guess I will say this quickly is that NASCAR I think did everything really good this weekend. When it comes to cautions and stuff, that last lap caution for the 500, absolutely right call. Larson went head on into the wall, so absolutely right call. No reason not to throw that. And yes, it's not just because Stenhouse won and beat Logano, but either way, Logano would have been beaten because the 20 went with the 47 either, regardless. So Logano would have had to probably finish third. So thankfully, the caution came out, he finished second. So, but either way, good calls and stuff from NASCAR all race long and weekend long. So kudos to them. Good weekend for them. Fox, step it up, guys. Step it up. You are sucking. You're getting worse and worse every year. So, guys, again, consider subscribing for this. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.